Every day it's a getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way. Hey, hey, hey. Every day it's a getting faster. Everyone.
All right, Lightnin Bugs, we're at track 5 on Songbook, and we've arrived at a very personal place on the record for me, Buddy Holly's Every Day. This song, like so many of Buddy's, were huge to me. When I was a kid growing up, Buddy Holly was one of my go-to guys for guitar, the original Texas rock and roller, one of the first of the rock and roll guys to compose his own material. His style was so unique, instantly identifiable. I still adore his records. And this song is even more personal to me because my mother's baby sister, Jeanette, my Aunt Jeanette, never had kids of her own, and me and my brother and sister were her babies, and raised us as her babies, along with my mother and dad. And my Aunt Jeanette had a childhood friend by the name of Elvis Presley. Now, Jeanette grew up in Greenville, Tennessee, which is in East Tennessee, but she would take Greyhound buses on the weekends, on a long weekend, you know, from school, when she was in high school, 450 miles west to Memphis to spend the weekend at Elvis's house. Why not? Nice work if you can get it, right? And go out to the movies with Elvis and his gang, and roller skating or whatever, amusement parks and stuff. This is in 57 and 58, prior to Elvis going into the Army. And so me growing up and hearing these stories from my Aunt Jeanette of, you know, going out with the greatest star and the biggest star in the world, certainly the greatest of the rock and rollers, had such huge impact on me as a kid. People today, if they say that Elvis influenced my career, I'll correct them and say Elvis invented my career. And I didn't learn until long after my Aunt Jeanette's death. I learned from my Uncle Bobby that my Aunt Jeanette, the first time she went to Memphis, was to take Elvis a song that my grandmother had written. Some of y'all that have read my book have read this story in my book, Off the Record. But that first trip to Memphis, my Aunt Jeanette wasn't all that excited about meeting Elvis. She liked Elvis's records, but she wasn't crazy about Elvis Presley. She was crazy about Buddy Holly. And her first trip to Memphis, she sung this song every day, the whole way to Memphis and the whole way back. And in 1957, before the interstate system, I'd only be guessing at how many hours a 450-mile trip would take in a Greyhound bus. But it was probably 15, 20 hours, and Jeanette would have had the opportunity to sing this 2-minute song over and over. It was a lot of fun to cut this. We actually cut this in the studio on my Aunt Jeanette's birthday, July 28th, as a tribute to her. All of Buddy Holly's music was so influential to me as a guitar player growing up. He was one of my go-to guys. I got to play my 57 maple neck Strat on this song. I got to play the drums. Buddy Holly's rhythm songs always sounded to me, when I hear that Peggy Sue beat and stuff, it always sounds to me like a cowboy who's in the saddle and the horse is galloping off wild, and the cowboy's butt is coming off the saddle up and down. He's not a very good rider, and it's pug-a-dum, 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 pug-a-dum. You know, they all have that kind of out of control kind of a quality to it. And so when we cut this, the drum part I wasn't happy with, and so I assembled a bunch of cardboard boxes, filled them with different bits of newspaper and things, and played that gallop on the boxes. That's been done a lot of times in the studio on different records. One that comes to mind at Muscle Shoals, Roger Hawkins, Paul Simon wasn't happy with the drum part on Kodachrome, so he wanted that loping thing, and so Roger Hawkins got a bunch of tape boxes and put some newspaper in it and played that on boxes, which is what I did on this song. A lot of fun to cut, just a happy, just a good old rock and roll song. I never get tired of Buddy or his music, and so this is from me to my Aunt Jeanette, and for Buddy Holly, and for you. I hope you dig it.
Yours will surely come my way.